wording or whatever we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, just reading it on its own, I didn't think it sounded all that bad, really.
One of them's all out.
What's that?
Us to discuss with Ryan.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him about it before he leaves.
Yeah.
You remember how to do
Oh. Okay, folks, if you want to sign up for public comment, you can right down here.
it? 7 o'clock.
Please silence your cell phones.
He must be.
Somebody come on. I can't. At this time, I will now call our April 18th, 2017 meeting to order. If everyone please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will observe a moment of silence. Thank you. First, let me welcome each and every one of you here. Thank you for coming out tonight. I want to welcome the ones that are watching through our live stream. We have 2 commissioners unable to be with us tonight. One is out of town for business. That is Chairman Gentry, and Mr. Rice, due to some medical reasons, is unable to be here. So, the first thing on here is our agenda approval. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? There are. Number 7, due to Mr. Laws not being here, he is in Raleigh, is that correct?
Yes.
Unable to get here. And then number 4, which is our public hearing for proposed revision to the Madison County Land Use Ordinance. We are going to reschedule that at a later date because of looking into each item a little more than what we have here. So, but if you've signed up for this, please feel free to come up and still give us your input on this, okay? There is a 3-minute time limit when you come up to speak, so just please be conscious of that. Okay. Any other changes to the agenda? Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda with the changes, the deletion of number 4 and 7 and 8 being completed by our county manager?
So moved.
Okay. Second. I have a motion by Commissioner Weckel, second by Commissioner Briggs on the approval of the agenda. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Motion passes. Second item, approval for March 14th and March 28th, 2017 minutes. Any changes to the minutes?
Amanda, I hate to do this to you. I missed it. I missed it the first time I looked at them, but when I looked at them again last night,
Which set?
on the 14th, page 2, section D, just a grammatical thing. I think it needs to be presented.
Got it.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry I missed it the first time.
No problem.
Other than that, I would move that the minutes be approved as presented with the noted alteration.
Okay. Second. Motion for the approval of the March 14th and March 28th minutes. Commissioner Wechtel, second by Commissioner Briggs. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. And at this time, we have public comment. Will Osborne, if you'll step up to the podium, please, and turn the microphone to you so they can hear. And state your name, please.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear
Okay.
you.
My name is Will Osborne, and I'm here because of the article that was in the news record either a week or 2 weeks ago about the Weaverville taking water out of the Ivy River. And I've lived on the Ivy now for 41 years, and my son and I have 40 acres that we farm there. And I know they said in the article that they are taking about 1% of the flow out of the river. And I think most of the people that live on that river would have a hard time believing that, because there's not much. Last year it was a dry year, but there wasn't much water left in that river last year, you know, and it was dirty. And so I'm here to say that I'm interested in that, and I'm not sure, don't have any idea where to begin, but I would like to do something about it, you know. So so I'm just here to ask for your help in any way, you know, that any way that you can, or anything you could suggest.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you, sir.
It is hard for me to read this writing, but I see Callie.
That's me.
Okay.
All right. I should have printed.
Is your shirt a hint of what you're going to talk about?
I just want to, I'm part of Expo Madison 2017. And we had a wonderful, wonderful second year of Expo. And I want to thank Ryan and Economic Development and you, the commissioners, for your support of Expo 2017, which, as I said, it was a great success in the terms of the number of people that came, which increased, and the number of exhibitors that increased. So all of that just leads to another great year next year. So we look forward to that continued support once again. We are thankful for Sarah Nichols for her amazing talents and energy, which she so graciously shared with us. We are very appreciative of Ingalls for all the advertising support that they provided, which helped meet all of our goals. And as a small business, because we're River Dance and the Lodge at Bear River, we want to recognize the work of economic development and Ryan and its positive impact upon all of us who have business here in Madison County. And we are just thankful for economic development and the work they do, and the work they will continue to do.
Thank you, Ken. Very much.
That was a great event, by the way.
Yes, it was. If you want to go to something that's very informative, I lived here all my life, and I still learned a lot about Madison County by going to it and talking to various businesses and various people and entrepreneurs. It was great. And thank you again. I look forward to it next year. Okay, that concludes our public comment. We will drop down to number 5, and I think that will be Ms. Barbara Rice.
Yes, Ruth was unable to be here, and what we're doing is just presenting our yearly report. You have a copy in your folder. I don't feel like I need to read it to you, but it has a lot of information about things we're trying to do as far as making sure our nursing homes, our family care homes that are in the county are doing what they need to do to take care of the people that are here in the county. And we have one lady that is working very hard to help them get their identification. And we go visit and take them little treats and things. And they're very appreciative of anything that people can do. And there's a lot of community help as far as Beacon of Hope, and they use the Lions Club to get glasses and a few things like that. And we appreciate any people that you nominate to help us. We're down right now, but a lot of people that were coming on have had family problems and things, and Mr. Franklin passed away, and he was a long-term member. And we just hope that through this report, you see that it is an important job that we're trying to do for those that are in Madison County. So we have a good name for taking care of other people if they're not from here. A lot of the people are from here, but there are also some that are not from here. So
right.
We thank you very much.
Before you go, Barbara, would you care to read this, what Linda Freeman, the things that she has been able to accomplish?
Okay.
Right there on the first page.
Yeah, she helps, she goes in and visits. She's helped to obtain 13 birth certificates. She's gotten fishing license for 25. This is all works toward getting a photo ID so they can have that. She's worked on voter registration for 2 of the residents, and they went and voted. We happened to be there after that, and they had their little sticker. Working on replacing Social Security cards for 10 residents, and she got 1 marriage license, and she continues to be there with the people and to help them get the things they need to be a part of our county.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Anything else?
How many openings do you have right now pending?
Let's see. Well, Darlene was going on, but I figured she probably has a lot with Calvin. I think we have 3 right now.
3 openings. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Just wanted the people to know there's a lot more to being on the board than just going in and walking through the nursing homes or the care facilities. She has been a great help, Linda has, in getting these things done. And we thank you, thank each and every one on the board. And if someone's interested in serving on a board, please let us know. We always have openings coming up, and we look for people to serve on boards. Thank you. D, number 6.
Good evening.
Donny.
I'm Dee Heinmuller from Community Services. I have a few things. We just recently had a review by the North Carolina Department of Transportation, and a few things to prepare us if we are ever audited. Murphy's Law says we will probably one day be audited, so I want to get everything in order. So these are a few things that some of the stuff you already have looked at in years past, but never made it into the minutes. Some things we need to have signed. So I think you have sort of a cheat sheet in front of you of things. So we can start with the Title IV program. This was signed in October 27th, 2016, but was never adopted in the board minutes. So I'm not sure what your standard would be to do that, but we need to have it in the record.
Forrest, do we need to redo the entire document, or can we just accept it? Where'd you go? They're dropping like flies around here, man.
We'll hold on till he gets back. I was not aware that he was gone.
He's a sneaky little guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you've read these. Do you want me to explain them, or you good?
Well, some of our board members were not here at this time,
Okay.
so it would be.
I was.
Okay.
You were? Okay.
Yeah, I was
So
on
let's
there.
come back to Title IV and explain it when we get Forrest back. Number 2, Madison County Travel Policy Addendum. The Madison County Transportation Authority receives state and federal funds. Currently, when we go on conferences that are required for it, for MCTA or NCDOT, we are paid only by county funds. And according to the state, we need to use the state rates. And because we receive funding through several line items on our grants or our funding, we have to use their rates. And their rates tend to be higher, but there is funds in those line items that come from our transportation administrative budget. So this is a very simple thing, and there's a addendum there, and it just basically says that when we go on state funded things, we have to use state rates. And that needs to be signed and put in the minutes.
All right.
Forrest? Do we do each one of these separate?
Yes.
Okay.
So my question was, when I was talking to an empty chair a minute ago,
You asked.
and I didn't get an answer, so, since we signed it,
This is the first one.
yeah, the Title IV
Six.
program,
Title VI, sorry, I read that backwards.
yeah, my mistake, you're right, that is Title VI,
I'm
isn't it?
dyslexic.
The Title VI program, we acted on in October of 2016, but it was never officially adopted, apparently because it wasn't reflected in the minutes. Do we need to redo the entire document, or can we retroactively adopt that?
You can adopt. That document was adopted and is reflected in the minutes. It's these specific items that they requested that even though they were part of that approval, they weren't listed separately in how we did the minutes.
Okay.
So no, you just need to do these items that are.
Okay, these two items.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. All right. You sure make what you want to make. Motion to adopt those two items.
Sure, I've got
We've got more, so
Three
you want
items.
to do one at a time?
3 bullet points. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Or, so at this point, then I'll make a motion that we adopt officially the Title VI program bullet points as highlighted in our packet, including the environmental justice, the public involvement plan, and the required addendum per NCDOT request.
Okay.
That these be officially recognized or officially notated in the minutes and accepted as such.
Do I hear a second? I have a motion for the Title VI program with the amended addendum to the board minutes. Second by Commissioner Briggs. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay.
And then the second one is the travel policy addendum, which allows us to use our funding through the federal for the rates that are required by the state. So we, with the federal, so we need to adopt that one.
I'll make a motion that we change our reimbursement program so that when the appropriate employees are traveling due to state business, they are reimbursed at the state rate using state funds.
Second. Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Wexler, second by Commissioner Briggs for the Madison County travel policy with the addition to the minutes. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you.
All right, number 3 is Madison County Purchasing Policy Addendum. This is the same, along the same lines. Basically what happens is that there are state and federal regulations on how we procure things. So if we're going to buy a van or a building that is using state funds, we have to follow the state and federal guidelines, which means we're taking a look at all of those things. For example, made in the USA, whether we are not making sure that we are nepotism in our county, making sure that we're getting the lowest price. All of those things have to do with state funds. And so if we're going to use state funds, we need to follow the state funding guidelines in order to purchase and procure items for the Department of Transportation here in Madison County.
And that would apply to state and federal funding, correct?
Yes.
Each guideline.
Yes.
And that's specifically tied to where the funding mechanism comes from, correct?
Yes, sir. So it, only with the federal funds that we receive would this be, we'd have to adhere to.
Gotcha. Bill, you want to take one?
Go ahead.
I guess you'll do it, man.
All right. Let's see, I'm gonna word it. At this time, I'd like to move that we adopt a plan to comply and do an addendum to the Madison County purchasing policy so that when we're purchasing items with either state and or federal funds, that we comply to the proper guidelines as required by the state and or the feds.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Okay, I have a second. I have a motion by Commissioner Weckel, second by Commissioner Briggs for the Madison County Purchasing Policy Addendum. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
All right, I have one more.
Okay,
Thank you. This one's the Madison County Transportation System Safety Policy. This plan is to identify, eliminate, and minimize the control safety hazards and their attendant risk by establishing requirements, lines of authority, levels of responsibility, and accountability. It was signed on October 1st, 2015, but was never adopted or placed in the board minutes. So I just need what we did on the very first one.
No, that one does predate me.
yes.
So a safety plan is basically, we're setting it up and we do a lot of tabletop conversations, who's in charge of what, hazardous, wrecks, hurricanes, those kinds of things to keep our building open and running if possible, or if we are needed in other parts of the county through, 911. So it explains all of those things. It's a safety policy. And it even goes down to how we place people on our vans, how we lock down things like oxygen tanks on our vans. It's a very large policy, and we're reviewing it again in September. So you'll see it again.
Okay, at this time, I'll make the motion that we adopt and place in the minutes of the meeting the Madison County Transportation System Safety Policy, which is the SSPP.
Is that all?
That's all we'll do. To identify, eliminate, and control safety hazards and their attended risks by establishing requirements, lines of authority, levels of responsibility, and accountability. Okay,
Second.
I have a second. I made the motion for that. Commissioner Briggs seconded. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think we've got you covered.
For the moment, yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. Forrest.
All right, members, you have in your packet a copy of the delinquent tax report for the month of April. Attorney Laws is stuck at a property tax commission hearing in Raleigh for Yancey County, and his hearing was supposed to be at 1 or 2 o'clock, and at 4:30 they had not yet heard him, so he is not able to be with us. But you can see in your notebooks the update. 28 additional files have been sent from the tax collector to the county attorney to begin foreclosure proceedings. 7 new foreclosures were filed by the attorney. 3 are slated for sale later this week, in addition to those 7. And 12 accounts were paid, a total of $68,492 paid in the month of March. There is item 12 on that page. It has 1 star for partial payment. That actually should be 2 stars. That is partial payment and a payment initiated. You can see next on there a list of specific accounts as those have been handled. And with the timing of this, and as we all know, or some of you may have seen today, the delinquent tax list was published in today's newspaper. And we all see some of the same names that are on this list have been foreclosed on and for proceedings. show up on that list again today, and that's because the list today was for 2016 taxes that are delinquent. This list is for prior years, which had not been collected for many years, and you all have started in the last 4 or so years to really work on collecting those. The property tax collection rate in 2012 was just 90.5%. Now it's up to 95%. That's about $500,000 in revenue that has come in and allowed the tax rate to stay level. So you have not had to pass that on. Getting additional people to pay the taxes there keeps from having to increase the amount on those who are already paying their taxes. So that being said, the listing in today's paper, including fire tax and other forms, totals about $831,000. That is $116,000 less than last year and $356,000 less than 2012. So we're moving in the right direction, but we'd love to see that get even shorter. We want the message sent for people to pay their taxes on time. Most of these people may pay their taxes before the end of the year and never lead to the foreclosure issue, but they'll still pay the penalties and interest for the current year. So we're moving in the right direction there, but it will take some time to turn that around and get closer to the state average, which is 96.66% for last year when we were at 95. So we're just a little bit behind. For every 1% that we increase the property tax collection rate, that brings in about $100,000. So that is good for the county and good for those who are paying their taxes. Trying to think of what else was there. So for prior years, year to date, as of March 31st, we collected $684,000 for the year. That is more than we collected for the entirety of last year. When I say prior year's taxes, that's the taxes owed from 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 that had been out there for a number of years and left uncollected. Our tax office and our attorney have been successful at going after that and bringing in significant revenue to the county. For the current year, the 2016 number, we've collected $201,000 more than we had at this point last year. So a total of $9,632,627 in current year property taxes as of March 31st. Any questions about delinquent taxes?
I'm just glad to see the numbers, Forrest. Thank you for that.
Current year budget, 75% of the way through the year. Our revenues are at 81%. We were at 75% at the same point last year. So being ahead of target on revenues is a good thing. Expenses are below target at 68%. So that's a really good place to be. We have a few issues with a couple of departments that we'll need to work on finishing out the year and making sure they have enough to finish. There have been some unforeseen circumstances that came up, but the majority of our departments have come in underspending. So wherever someone has spent less because they've had a personnel vacancy or whatever, we'd be able to move that savings to a place where it's needed. Courthouse renovation, the 4 employees in the clerk's office have moved into their new offices. We're finalizing issues with the controls on the mini splits that have been installed there. And then we'll be pausing pending budget and making sure we have a plan for how we finish a specific room before we start it. And the idea is to go as there's money available and do the work to paint, redo the flooring and that sort of thing room by room, because we do not have the money to completely renovate the entire building at this time. And then we have, let's see, Cody will be leaving his role as Development Services Director at the end of this month. He's been with the county for 17 years and started out as building inspector and eventually became the director of inspections and zoning. And for the past 2 years, has handled economic development, which is a place he has really excelled. Since he's been there, we've had someone who's been able to spend time on requests for information that come from the state for industrial projects and that sort of thing. That led to a building reuse grant that has led to 28 jobs at Madison Manufacturing in Hot Springs. Continue to work on rural technology issues that had been started prior to his going into that role. Achieved Madison County's designation as a tech hire community by the White House last year. Began work on broadband expansion for the county, completed a survey last fall, and we'll have some information coming here in the next few weeks for y'all to consider about the next step for that, actually working with a provider to expand broadband service to other areas of the county. And he also worked with a private developer of the town of Marshall and the management of Print Pack on the purchase and renovation of the Springfield Shelton building on the bypass that allows for storage space for Print Pack and hopefully frees up space at Print Pack for eventual job expansion there. So Ryan will be leaving shortly, and we'll be figuring out how to fill both of those roles, or however we do it with both zoning, planning, and economic development in the near future. So we'll be working on that, and I'll keep you posted. Any questions?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm good.
Ms. Rhea Hollars?
Good evening, Board. First thing I have in your packet tonight is the March financial reports for you. I hope you have had a chance to look over them. This is my first month preparing these, so I've just prepared them exactly like you've seen before. No wild and crazy changes yet, but I'm sure I'll have some coming sooner rather than later. Do you have any questions on that or anything you specifically want to go over?
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Okay. The second thing I added in your packet, as behind the financials, was a list of checks that were written. I did make some notes on there on things that I was not familiar with, so I could hopefully pre-answer your questions. And I haven't received any extra questions from you, but if you have come across any on what a check was written for, please feel free to let me know.
I appreciate you doing that. I noticed that when I picked up my book, so that's very helpful. Thank you.
Next thing I put in there was a budget amendment number 9. Not a ton of stuff to amend this time. Mostly grants that were received or other income. That was semi-surprise, so I was like getting extra money. And then a couple of line tweaking to move things that were over budget or under budget.
Any questions or comments on the budget amendment?
No.
Do I hear a motion to approve budget amendment 9?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
I have a motion for the approval of budget amendment 9. Commissioner Wechtel, second by Commissioner Briggs. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay.
The last thing that's in your packet is the tax releases and refunds as provided from the tax department.
One reason that it is such a large amount is because this time of year, is that correct? Forrest?
Yes, with people when they pay their bills.
Any questions or comments for Rhea on the property releases?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hold on one second.
We got.
Okay, sorry about that.
I hear a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion to approve the March 2017 property releases. I hear a second.
If I can get it out. Say,
Second by Commissioner Weckel. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay.
Done with me now?
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
thank you.
All right. We are moving right along tonight.
Chairman, can I address something?
Yes.
I'm aware from stepping outside to gather some notes from someone earlier that a number of you are here because of the planning board meeting that was tonight. And I want to explain to you and apologize for the inconvenience, but explain the reason that that meeting was postponed. I learned this morning that the meeting was taking place. I learned this morning that the meeting was going to be taking place in the library, which is too small of a space for a meeting like this. And upon hearing that, and hearing that there was interest in the issue, I said it needs to be rescheduled for a space that's big enough and a date that works for everyone. I know that some of you went there tonight to speak on an issue. I didn't know this morning what the issue was, and that's a problem. And I've got to deal with that myself and how we work things as a county. You all have been inconvenienced as a public, but I can promise you that when that issue comes back up, it will be held in a space that is suitable. This room, I've heard that it was said that this was moved because of the commissioners meeting tonight. This room had been booked by someone else before we booked it. So that is not the issue, but it is a county issue, and I apologize for it. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I promise you that there was no ill will intended with that.
If I may point out though, Forrest, this was a meeting that was advertised for 2 weeks beforehand. So the fact that our county officials do not know about a meeting that is a public hearing, it's your policy to advertise that. This is part of holding our county officials accountable. I'm very disappointed to hear that because yes, we were told it was a scheduling conflict. I believe you of all people should know when these meetings are happening. So at this point, we should know the date, time, and location for when that matter will be taken up.
Cannot tell you that right now because I don't know, but I can tell you when I discovered this issue, I did what I could do to make sure that it was not held in that manner. And when that happens, you all will be noticed the appropriate way.
The board was only noticed, they were only notified 10 minutes before start.
And I will address that.
Why? I want to know why.
They also said that it was a circumstance that some of the commissioners needed to be at that meeting, could not be at that
That's
meeting.
correct.
I'm not aware of that.
We were told that the attorney was here and needed to be at that meeting. That's what we were told.
That's correct.
The attorney portion, they probably thought was true because he was supposed to be back by now.
Okay.
But he's stuck in Raleigh. I'm not aware of any of the commissioners on this issue, haven't discussed it with them.
That's
what they told everybody.
Okay, and I will thank you, and I will address it.
So are you saying it's miscommunication?
I think it is miscommunication.
Very much it is.
Okay, so where do we go from here? How will we all know when these meetings are held? How does the public find out if the ads in the paper are incorrect? Then how do we know? Are you going to call each of us?
There is a notification that goes to the adjoining property owners. Now, I hear from outside that perhaps some, or at least a few, did not receive that. That will be addressed. That happens, and the meeting is advertised. There's a standing meeting that was to be held tonight, but I didn't realize that until we moved our meeting a month ago.
Okay, now you're contradicting yourself here. You're saying it is advertised, but then you're saying you didn't know about the advertisement. So set us straight. What is it? Is it advertised or is it not going to be advertised?
I have explained in an honest way the situation. It's an unfortunate situation, and I'm not going to be able to say any more about it.
I'm
But
just
no,
asking how we
that's
find out
not-
when this meeting's going to take place. It's a simple question.
It will go through the proper public notice procedures for it.
And then be canceled 10 minutes prior to having
That
minutes,
will
right?
not happen.
It
Which-
did.
Which commissioners needed to be at that planning board meeting?
I'm not aware of that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they misspoke?
I'm not aware of
Okay,
anything like that. Doesn't mean it didn't happen.
okay,
I wasn't in on that discussion.
okay.
Well, I can
So
say, I can
we
say
were
as
told
an,
that
I can say as an adjoining landowner of this situation, I was not aware that the meeting had been canceled until nearly, what, 6, 7, Forrest?
I talked to him at 8:30 this morning.
And I wasn't aware of that myself, so.
It's a public hearing. That's my point. It doesn't matter if you're an adjoining landowner or not. The public has the right to be there. And if you advertise it, you cannot cancel it like this and then say you didn't know about the advertisement. That's not how counties operate, trust me.
we were told that the planning board meets on the third Tuesday. Is that correct? So that's a standard meeting date. That shouldn't be in
There should-
controversy.
There shouldn't be any conflict in that. I just come for information, but I'm really getting to think something's getting covered up. No? Everybody
We as a
shaking
board
their
of
head up there.
commissioners cannot speak for the zoning board because we have nothing to do with the meeting with them tonight.
We're not blaming them.
So they're saying that y'all,
They told us to come here and speak to y'all because it was coming from.
they said it came from the committee. Well, actually, the guy that was on it said, he called him, told him that the county commissioners need to be there with their lawyer.
No.
They said that's what you said.
And I will address that because that's not what I said.
Well, that's what they told us.
And I don't want to apologize for somebody else, but I apologize that you got inaccurate information. I don't like the situation, but I can tell you that my intent when calling this morning to say, don't do this, was partly for the sake, it's two different reasons, but it's partly for the public. Wrong, maybe, but why have a meeting in a room that's not big enough to have it in?
Well, we all
Our
fit
job
in.
to handle, and I can't do anything about what's already been done. I can only do about what's going forward, and I will. And I mean what I apologize. I mean my intent. I'm being honest about where that's come from. And that's all I can say. And I can handle what's going forward, and we will.
Okay. At this time, do I hear a motion for us to continue and go into closed session for section 143-318.11? All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Briggs for closed session. Second by Commissioner Waker. All those in favor of closed session, raise your right hand. We are now in closed session.
We can stay with that specific person.
Excuse me? Yes, for personnel.